no chance to talk to you. 'Cause you are fooling with a dead man's cups, and you don't know what you do. So you say you have a lover, and you love her like no other. So you buy her a diamond that someone has died on. Don't you think there's something wrong with this? Tell me, who's responsible for what we teach our children? Is it the internet or the stars on television? Why, oh, why? Why, oh, why, oh? Oh, so little Lucy turned 60, and like the movie she's been seeing, she has a lover in her daddy. She can't tell nobody till she makes the evening news. For there is fire on the mountain, and there is nobody on the rock. Oh, there is fire on the mountain top, and no one is around. Oh, yes. One day the river will overflow, and there'll be nowhere for us to go. And we will run, run, wishing we had put out the fire. Oh, for there is fire on the mountain, yeah, yeah, and there is nobody, nobody. Oh, there is fire on the mountain, and no one is running.
I mean, talking about one of the deepest songs ever done by a Nigerian artist, this is definitely one of them. Fire on the Mountain, something beautiful and powerful done by the lady known as Bukola Elemide, but popularly known as Asha.
It's a running.
Fire on the Mountain, saying that nobody seems to be on a run. But looking at the front pages of the newspapers this morning, it seems security has been placed on alert concerning the proposed nationwide strike. And looking at what I have on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, US, UK, Canada issue security alert. Traders fear looting. I guess that is fire on the mountain. Okay, with that beautiful song, I welcome you to the From the Daily segment on AM Update on Solutions 93.9 FM. My name is Adedamola LAFENWA. It's another start of a beautiful week. Today is Monday. The Monday I like to call the Money Making Monday, the 29th day and the month of July 2024. A beautiful morning to you, comrade AYODEJI, AJISOPE.
Yes, a good morning to you, my dear comrade brother. I hope you had a splendid weekend.
Well, I did. I tried my best to have a very splendid weekend, even though it was a hectic one. I was at work almost all through the weekend. But
we're trying to find a balance.
Definitely. Now, looking at the build-up to the nationwide protests, hoping to commence on the first day in the month of August. Virtually all the papers we have this morning talking about that preparation towards that. Okay, looking at the Punch newspaper. Actually, I have about 5 newspapers this morning. I have the Punch, I have the Nation newspaper, I have the Guardian newspaper, I have the Vanguard, and of course the Nigerian Tribune. Looking at the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, I have this one, the biggest story on the front page, saying Archie protests, US, UK, Canada issue security alerts, traders fear looting, foreign missions foresee violence as FG Obi defer on protest sponsors. Okay, and there are pictures of queues at filling stations in some parts of Nigeria. I can see 2 from Lagos and one from Abuja, talking about the long queue resurfacing at our filling stations. We'll talk about that this morning. And talking about fuel rises to 1,300 naira per litre as depot is run dry. Only NNPCL can buy Dangote petrol, Ipman, and that is a serious issue which we need to talk about this morning. SIM-NIN linkage. Telecos begin final mass disconnection. I was trying to get across to some people yesterday and I couldn't. So when I saw the the story later in the day, I was like, oh, probably that is what is really happening.
Yeah, I've been monitoring two locations, one of the service providers, and I saw video clips that are heart-rending. Somewhere in Ring Road and somewhere in, Civic Center. I just said to Civic Center. Hundreds of people there. Hundreds of people there.
Okay.
And of course, you know.
This morning, right?
This morning.
I foresaw it because I was telling somebody that that particular network provider's offices will be bombarded this morning because
Why do I have to physically go to these places to get these issues resolved? I don't get that.
well, we'll get there someday, hopefully. Okay, still taking other stories from the front page of the Punch newspaper. Court orders 1 billion naira payment to Oceanic Bank's ex-staff. Victim under pressure to drop police station rape case. Family. That's a sad one. It's a case involving a 17-year-old girl who was being raped
By a DPO. I mean, why should, and then why? I mean, there should be a lawyer interfacing, you understand?
Well,
there shouldn't be, I mean, there should be a lawyer interfacing with the authorities regarding this. You don't need to, what pressure?
We'll actually talk about that
pressure?
if time permits. Okay, going to another paper.
You
This
know our
morning.
culture, very funny way we go about things. There might be no, a woman, only family. What's the meaning of that?
Was he not thinking about his family before committing such a
And the
heinous
story
crime?
goes that I mean, the other people are coming up saying the same, similar things about the man.
Okay, let's take stories from other newspapers. Okay, and the Vanguard newspaper, AJISOPE, police protest organizers dig in. And there are quite a number of riders under that headline. Be cautious, Khan warns FG protest organizers. Obi backs planned protest, says hunger, hopelessness are sponsors. Stop criminalizing, politicizing protest. Lukman tells Tinubu. Police defend request for details. Cite security concerns. Away from that, because, okay, let me take one more rider from that. Panic over planned protest, worrisome. Utomi. Away from that, I have this one saying, Abuja politicians behind banditry, killings in Benue, Governor Aliyah. Page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper. Shortage, fuel prices rise 21% to 850 naira per litre as marketers short stations. Gay marriage approval. Anglicans threaten to break away from Church of England. Away from the Vanguard newspaper now, let's look at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. How chartered aircraft operators rip off Nigeria. Planned protest, senators, reps join last-minute mediation. Pages 2 and 3. And riders, Peter Obi reveals those behind protests. CPPE cautions against likely economic impact, says it could inflict daily loss of 400 billion naira. NAF airstrikes destroy 12 illegal refining sites in Abia Rivers. That story found on page 26. Ekiti 2026. Why I won't contest against Oyebanji Bamidele. Uncertainty. Okay, let me go back to that paper. Okay.
He is Senate leader. That's a powerful position.
He said what?
He is Senate leader.
You mean Bamidele?
Opeyemi.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to go back to the Nigerian Tribune paper that I was trying to read through. Okay, I found it again. Okay, still going through the Nigerian Tribune front page. Ethnic nationalities to Tinubu apply doctrine of necessity to rescue Nigeria. Indigenous shipping reps stress need for amendment of NIMASA Act. And let me take one more. Why FG's palliatives will not address food inflation, agriculturist. And let me take the Guardian newspaper because of our time. NNPCL struggles with over $5.3 billion loans, JV debts, commercialization. Outcry as telecos bar lines days to SIM NIN deadline. The risk Danger of planned national protest. That story is found on page 12 of the Guardian newspaper. Peaceful Gubo polls not certain in Edo, Ondo, report warns. Protests. Obi names sponsors as CPPE warns of 400 billion naira daily loss to economy. And two more stories. Serap sues CBN over missing 100 billion naira dirty notes. And the last one I'll be taking says, support Dangote refinery to reduce petrol scarcity. Ex NDIC. MD tells regulators. Okay, it's 9:43 on Solutions and 93.9 FM. It is from the dailies, and we are going through the major stories in some of today's national dailies. Comrade AYODEJI, AJISOPE, good morning to you once again.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Now, I don't know whether you noticed over the weekend, we have our queues back at the filling stations, and some filling stations are shutting down. Now it's on the papers now that one paper actually said fuel has risen to 1,300 naira per litre. Another one says 850 naira per litre. Why? Okay, let me read it as it's been taken from one of the stories. Fuel shortage. Fuel prices rise 21% to 850 naira per litre as marketers short stations. Why are the depots dry?
Well, we saw NNPCL issue a statement that there was a glitch. You know, all these terms that we apply when we want to paper over the cracks. They said there was a glitch in discharge of products. Okay, if there was a glitch in discharge of products, I mean, that means we do not have anything in reserve. If we had something in reserve, I mean, the reserve should last us, for God's sake, at least 30 days. That means we do not, if there's a glitch in discharge, and we know that the discharge at Atlas Cove, so if there's a glitch in discharge, either at Atlas Cove or the vessels taking those products off the bigger vessels that cannot come into Atlas Cove to discharge. So if there's a little glitch, we don't have any reserve.
Now, with the excuses coming from NNPCL saying that there is a glitch, can Nigerians believe that? Because when you talk about glitch, this scarcity tends to stay for long.
Yeah, because the moment it's a disruption of flow, the moment you disrupt flow, there will be a backlog. And of course, you cannot load those tankers faster than you normally load. You understand? You are using maximum capacity to load those tankers. So if there's a backlog, you can't load faster than you. If it takes you 1 hour 40 minutes to load a 33,000 tanker, because there's a backlog, it will still take the same time.
But
so
when there is a glitch, there should be scarcity. There shouldn't be hiking fuel price.
you see, it depends on where you are selling. It's a liberalized market.
Look at this now. You've mentioned market now. Only NNPCL can buy Dangote petrol, Ipman.
I don't think it's even about buying. What will happen to it when they buy it?
What is wrong with Dangote petrol that Ipman can't buy?
But Ipman is an amorphous organization of independent petroleum marketers. Who takes what stake, and how liquid are those guys, really?
If Ipman buys from Dangote, fuel wouldn't be this high. I mean, the fuel price won't be this high.
What the challenge is? The challenge is that why do you say that? The challenge is faced by Dangote. They will still face the same challenges.
What are the challenges?
Of course, raw materials. Raw materials. That's basically the challenge. And well, I want to say, but it goes deeper than that. The raw materials are available, but not being given for whatever reason. And of course, we know that embedded interests, they are beyond vested interest now, and people are pointing fingers at people in very high places in this land. So what the regulator, the midstream and downstream regulator is doing is they are not acting on their own. They are just There are puppeteers. They are the puppets. There are puppeteers.
But so far so good. Whenever we experience scarcity of petrol and fuel price hike, the excuse is being given by the institution in charge of it has never been so cogent enough for Nigerians to really key into.
You see, if we had a reserve, national reserve, for God's sake, it's so ridiculous that when the statements they issue, they expose the underbelly of our strategic reserve in products, and not just this product, including food too. You understand? There is, for things that border on national security, because this borders on national security, so we do not have a strategic reserve that can be accessed in an emergency. Is that what they're saying?
You know what is more worrisome is the fact that Nigeria is an oil-producing country. So it is. I want us to look at it from a layman's angle now. How do you explain to ordinary man on the street that a land that is producing crude oil in large quantity, we experiencing shortage, scarcity every now and then?
You see, Nigerians do not have a sense of stakeholding in Nigeria. If nothing else, if Aliko Dangote has benefited from, waivers, all the allegations against him, waivers, favorable exchange rates, and all of that, all the accusations leveled against the man has consistently, monopoly and all of that, the man has shown a willingness, a commitment to invest, call it whatever. Those who are pilfering, even those who are taking our crude oil, 400,000 barrels per day. Yes, there is a report that there was no report of theft. We need validation and verification about that in the past 1 month. Look, I guess that those are the products that are being refined and
brought
back. You understand? Suddenly, Malta, we didn't have anything to do with them between 2017 and 2023, and then suddenly we did a 2.8 billion transaction. Look, Nigerians don't have a sense of stakeholding in Nigeria. They see Nigeria as a cow that should be milked. Believe you me, and it is sickening. And it is nothing new. I remember way back in early 90s, my father would say this is no longer greed. Early 90s, I remember. He will say it is avarice, and he used to call them harvesters of ruins.
Well, I was asking you sometime last week on the program that shouldn't this stakeholders in this sector be probed, because there seems to be so much secrecy embedded in the operations of this, which are not open to Nigerians.
In 1993, when Moshood Kashima Wolawale Abiola was campaigning for the presidency, I recall that he said he was going to introduce transparency, that the transaction of, NNPC was as opaque, and I quote him verbatim, that the transaction of NNPC was as opaque as the crude they dealt in. When you see crude, it's a very, very messy thing. In crude. In fact, that's the name for it. Crude in its crude stage. So, you see all this probe. What probe? We don't need any probe. Just put any. Dangote says he's going to the exchange. If Dangote is going to the exchange, then let them put. They say they're in somebody was telling me, and I kind of was telling me over the weekend that they're in transition. I said, what transition? NNPC, NNPCL. Okay, put them. Who owns NNPC? Federal government 50%. Federal Ministry of Finance 50%. Why? We say we are going after Aramco model. You understand? Let's go to the exchange. Don't probe NNPC. There is no need. Look at NNPC depots alone. How many of them? Pipelines. They used to have PPMC as a subsidiary. I think they have matched the depot and the depot and the PPMC. They are not functioning. They have officials. They have officials getting paid, and when they retire, doing nothing. They are there. Port Harcourt Refinery, 2 of them. Warri Refinery, Kaduna Refinery.
And they are not functioning.
They're not functioning.
And you say they shouldn't be probed. When I mean probing, it's not even only about the NNPC, but there seems to be, like we said, there are some cabals who are not allowing these things to function. Now, when Dangote came up, everybody had a sigh of relief that, okay, we finally have a refinery operational. And look at what Dangote has been going through.
People are saying, why did Dangote build such a huge refinery? Nobody's doing that again. And I said to myself, Dangote had to build a monstrous refinery so that it cannot be ignored.
The size of that refinery is about 2,000 times a football pitch.
7,000 something. They say.
7,000 times.
So
The
it's such
size
a
of football
monster.
pitch.
It's a monster of a facility. So it cannot be ignored. And you see, the man was tactical. For once, the man sought to be on the side of public opinion. And public opinion is in support of Dangote. You see, it is going to cause, ripples beyond Nigeria. Most refineries in Europe may not have anybody to service. If Dangote is servicing the whole of Africa, as we speak, Dangote is servicing part of Asia. You can now imagine Dangote working full blast, NNPC, Warri 1 and 2, Praco 1 and 2, and Warri Functional and Kaduna. Which refinery in Europe will be working? You understand? So then the power has shifted, economic power, supply power of product. I read a report, the consequences of economic consequences when Dangote begins to function full blast by 2025. I think I sent it to you late in the night. The consequences, foreign exchange implications, inflow, and then what, the economic impact. We don't want that. You don't want that. You understand? So if they put Dangote refinery, you understand, on the exchange, you have to make a presentation when you want to go to the exchange to attract investors. People will invest now.
Now, before we leave this particular fuel story now,
NNPC, let them put them on
what
the
should be
exchange.
put in place to at least to stop all this incessant fuel scarcity and the likes that we always experience every now? It's like they always give us like a month break. Then after it resurfaces again, then we cool down again. After
We have a solution on our hand.
So what is the solution?
Dangote Petrochemicals. Supply him with crude. Supply him with crude.
If they supply him with crude, but the Ipman, the marketers are saying only NNPCL can buy from him.
What's the meaning of that?
That's what is in the papers.
Are they
this
not
morning.
buying the AGO from him?
At least it's
Is there a contract? Is there a
only
con-
NNPCL can buy Dangote petrol.
No. It cannot be true. It cannot be true. Are they tied to him legally?
Because now, if they are saying this,
Is
then
there a contract?
if Dangote refinery is 100% operational now, with no hassles and everything, they are still not going to buy from him.
Ipman,
That's it. That's what is in the papers.
they are not. Is it a legal entanglement? Are they suggesting a legal entanglement? Of course, Dangote would. More so, what's the stake of NNPC? 7.2%. Huh? 7.2%. They didn't pay. They didn't commit themselves to the 20% they originally said they were committed to. So I'm sure there's no legal entanglement that holds Dangote Petrochemicals down to. No. I was a businessman. It's money. The man's money. He invested his money. No.
Okay, away from that, let's talk about the proposed the preparations towards the nationwide protest, and there seems to be so many dust being raised from different quarters. Now, some people are saying that the federal government seems to be more interested in the organizers of this protest instead of addressing the cause of this protest. Because in the papers for some weeks now, we've been having who are the protesters, who are the sponsors, who are this. But Obi seems to have an answer to that. He said, says hunger, hopelessness are the sponsors of this protest.
Yeah, hunger knows no ethnicity, no religion, whether you are from the southeast or whichever nationality you are. But Obi is being cheeky.
Cheeky in what way?
Well, yes, now, there are sponsors. Of course, the remote. History student. When they ask you, say, state the remote and immediate causes of the fall of your empire. So there are immediate and remote causes.
Should we be concerned about the sponsors, about all the demands, or what prompted
The security agents and agencies will be concerned about the sponsors. It's their job. That's their mandate to ensure security of lives and properties. You want to protest? No problem with protest, really. But what is the objective of the protest? You
But
understand?
the IGP said
And
something that
what did he
for
say?
you to be a partaker of that protest, you must submit your details, you must submit this. Where in the world is that?
That's an extreme and ridiculous.
Okay, I want to go on protest now. I need to come and submit my name,
Do
the
you
name
know
of my
that
father,
in this country,
my
people needed to apply?
my family house,
until
my
people,
everything.
Until people went to court, you need to apply for permit. Police will say you must get permit, and people took that and say, what's wrong with the permit to protest? Protest is dissent. You understand? It's just I dissent, and I want to show that I dissent. So what's the problem with that? Even at home, people dissent in the family. Not to talk of right. So people now, the police will now say, okay, notify us so that we'll provide you cover. Then police will come in. I do hope that there are enough men. You see, why the security agencies are on red alert about this is that they have learned some lessons. Look, the destruction that took place. NSAS, Lagos has not recovered from it. That must never happen again. Somebody was asked, okay, yeah. The comrade that was asking me this morning whether it has been regionalized, did he say? I don't want to be dragged.
Yeah, it is believed in some quarters that it is because some people are pulling out of the protest because it's our person that is there.
You see, that is the face of politics in Nigeria. There are all sorts of insinuations. They say those who even instigated this are pulling back now to defend their own territory in court now, you know. And where are the places where the Showore? Have you seen Showore's Facebook account? He's seen instructions. Benin is ready from his New York home. Alausa is ready from his New York home.
He's in New York.
He's in New York in the comfort of his home, and he was issuing instructions. Benin is ready. Meeting point is Ipoba Road, 7 a.m. Can you imagine that? You are in the comfort of your home in New York, and you are issuing instructions. And I saw thousands of messages deliberately, to interrogate what was happening. And I saw also, and of course, it was clear that there was, ethnic, bias and all of that, But that is how far we have gone politically.
Now, talking about some groups pulling out, I saw this one on Nation newspaper this morning saying that leave Lagos out of it. NLC tells protest. NLC, yeah, promoters.
You see.
Now, how can a protest be effective if Lagos is left out of it?
You see, one thing is clear. This administration, they're masters of these shenanigans. They have been at it for, the progressive.
And the funny thing is, I'm sorry to cut in. The funny thing is, most of the people that sponsored or they were agitators of the Occupy Nigeria then in 2012 or so, seems to be withdrawing from this or seems to be criminalizing in court.
And these are the masters of the game.
They seem to be the people that were actively involved in Occupy Nigeria in 2012 are now criminalizing this protest.
Well, they are masters of the game, and they know the consequence. You won't forget the fact that Occupy Nigeria, it was so effective and it was very well organized.
But to be sincere, things weren't this on the high side during 2012. Occupy Nigeria.
Sure.
Things weren't this tough.
Yeah, things were in this tough. But
and the key players now are now beginning to criminalize this.
Who are the key players that
are let's leave that to the imagination of the listeners.
Yeah, I don't think you can criminalize protest.
Because it's on the paper. Stop criminalizing, politicizing protest. Lukman tells Tinubu.
Who is Lukman?
Okay, I'll read into that too. I think.
Well, you see, when you start on the path, look, NSAS memories is not going to fade away so soon. You understand? Look, the sight of burning Lagabus, brand new Marco Polo buses, for God's sake, not 10, not 20, not 30, not 50. They set a whole pack of it ablaze. That is not going to go away. A forensic laboratory, the best south of Sahara, was set ablaze. So much so when they had to do the mobile forensic something, they had to take it elsewhere. You understand? A high court with all the records and everything got burned down. Igbosheri, an upgraded high court, if you're familiar with Lagos, was burnt down. I mean, all in the name of what? TVC. I will never forget the drama. That lady in TVC, she was in her studio, and I will never forget that drama. She was, reaching out live.
That was the NSAS.
Yeah, but for God's sake. And somebody from somewhere was issuing instructions, attack social location, and then that gave it some coloration, and then the elections came. That coloration manifested, and then I think people have. That is the two together is making people have a rethink. You understand? That is the reality. Those two events put together, they say, a third one? No, we're not going to allow that. And you see, these people in power now, they are veterans of the barricades. They are veterans of the barricades. They know the tactics. It is clear that they have infiltrated them.
Was infiltrated?
The government has infiltrated them. They have been infiltrated. You understand? And you need platforms and planks to operate. Not just a disparate, it has to be cohesive. They have been infiltrated. And the major planks, you understand? They have dissuaded them.
Some people are even believing that that protest might not even be as effective as it should be because, like you said, they've been infiltrated.
They have been infiltrated. Without, you see, that man, the NSA, is not a retired general. You understand? Have you heard him say anything? He's a policeman.
Ribado.
Have you heard him say anything about the protest? He's a policeman. That is the difference between a policeman and a retired general, issuing threats like you're going to battle. You understand? He has been very, very civil. Police, they are trained to be civil. And he's a refined gentleman.
Okay, I'm trying to look at that Lookman now. A former national vice chairman, Northwest of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Saliu Lookman, addressing Tinubu to stop criminalizing the protest.
Have you heard anything from him? I mean, Tinubu is not...
He won't speak. Definitely, he won't speak.
So they know the danger. They think if it spirals, if it starts, it will spiral out of control if it has support. You understand? All the critical elements, NLC, of course, you're not going to find TUC there. TUC will not be there.
We don't even know where NLC stands now.
If you said NLC said something.
Leave Lagos out of it. NLC tells protest promoters.
So, protocol is strategic. Abuja is strategic. You understand? Wike in his usual abrasive.
There too. They're saying that.
Don't mind Wike. Don't mind Wike in his abrasive on civil manner. Say we do not we don't want protest.
He said Wike. I mean, protest is not allowed.
That's a joke.
In Abuja.
A lawyer saying protest is not allowed. I mean, it's not a military formation. Abuja is not a military formation. Abuja is not a garrison. I think we should just do it. Those who need to do something about it, they are working. They have been working. They didn't take this as a joke, you understand? They have infiltrated it. Look, they know those who are. You leave electronic footprints everywhere. One message like this, one text message like this, you leave your footprints anywhere. They have apparently.
And I think
and they're not issuing threats. They're not making too much noise.
I think the security operatives too should at least have a kind of a more sensitization on their men too.
Oh, certainly.
Because it's believed that it's in some parts of the NSAS protest in Lagos, it was the men of the security men that triggered the anger of the people, that they didn't mean to be that violent.
Yeah, the police at a point, don't forget.
They need to be civil in the way they handle
the policemen are never
at
enough.
least to forestall peace.
Yeah, they are never enough, you understand? And they had to draft in the military guys. And the military guys are not trained to be civil. You saw how the military guys, ran down even the policemen in certain confrontations with the policemen. Say, leave that place, get out of that, that's uncivil. That's uncivil, but they're not trained to be civil. So even, I mean, you see, you are working in a joint, they call it joint operations. When it's a joint operation,
But why deploying military into,
they will deploy. How many
into
policemen?
civil matters?
How many policemen?
That's why we see them coming on during.
What we had in NSAS was no longer civil. There was nothing civil about burning down
I think we have
150 million.
I think we have a caller. Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Wrong.
There's absolutely nothing civil about people burning down a park containing about 170 buses procured with public funds, public resources at the cost of 250 million per piece. What's civil about that? That's criminal. But you see, we do not have enough policemen. You see, even police has levels. In Nigeria before, the mobile police force, the PMF, used to be deployed in riot situations. But now, they are deployed as guards. They are deployed as guards to politicians. You can rent
Talking
police.
about police.
Huh?
Talking about the police, right?
Yes, you will see mobile police squadrons. They were deployed to, critical situations. But now, they are deployed as guards to politicians. I mean, you want to go anywhere, you can rent police.
And hold
Quote me.
umbrellas. And carry the bags and
They carry bags and umbrellas. Mobile police. So they are no longer, when they call them mobile police, and that was what they used to call the Federal Highway Patrol. The Federal Highway Patrol rode in Land Cruiser SUVs. Federal Highway Patrol. They used to have one white marks around their caps. They rode around in Toyota Land Cruisers. It is the politicians that ride Toyota Land Cruisers. Even then, when those guys were riding Toyota Land Cruiser, politicians were not riding them.
Okay.
We don't have enough men.
Okay, let's leave the protest issue now.
Yet the police commission and the police IG, they are fighting over recruitment. Just 10,000. 10,000. They're fighting over that.
accusing each other of shady dealings, corruption, another corruption.
Corruption. It's all about corruption.
Okay, away from that, peaceful Gilbert polls not certain in Edo, Ondo, report once. I want to read a paragraph from that story. Okay, I had Edo and Ondo state governorship elections. A report by Kimpact Development Initiative (KDI) has indicated that a cloud of uncertainty hangs over the prospect of a peaceful voting process. And looking at let's take Edo for example now. Looking at what is playing out between Godwin Obaseki, the governor, and the deputy governor, who has just been reinstated, who has now defected openly to the opposition party. That alone signifies that the election is going to be somehow there. And we are a few months away to the election.
I've always said we have three states on our radar: Edo, Ondo, and Rivers. I don't know what to say about Rivers. Rivers is not cool enough.
Well, Rivers
Rivers
still has enough time because at least it's 2027.
Yeah,
they can sort out whatever the grievances.
Ondo is simmering. Don't forget that Jibo Ibrahim has a case in court against the party primaries. Jibo Ibrahim has been at this kind of game for a while. He did that to Jegede. It was only a few days, if not like 48 hours to the gubernatorial election, that Jegede got the Supreme Court judgment affirming him as a PDP candidate. And of course, Nigerians, uncertainty, people just cross to the other party. To Jegede lost. Now, we have another case. He's saying there was no primaries held, So that case, he will drag it to the Supreme Court. And of course, that will affect. But I do hope that people will do what they know is right. Now, in Edo State, you see, politician Obaseki, no matter what, he has been governor for 8 years. He had been, he is not a master of the game politically. Number one, Edo had always been a swing state. Edo will be PDP. What did they? MPN today. They will be alive. I think what were they? The UPN.
Then
UPN.
They went to Labour.
Then they went to Labour. They went to AC. So Edo had always been a swing state. It is the mood of the people that determines. Obaseki got support on basis of why now? You know. But you see, he will be stretching his luck too far. By
You mean
Obaseki doesn't have the political. You see, you have to be strategic. You have to maneuver. He's maneuvering in bringing. You can impose a candidate. You understand? Because you can impose a candidate, but I mean through the primaries. But can you impose them on the people on election day? It's a difficult one for Obaseki to carry out. Those configuration.
Is Obaseki imposing a candidate?
That's what the politicians are alleging. Number one, Obaseki was never a member of PDP. He came, they gave him the ticket.
At the last minute.
When they gave him the ticket, of course, as a governor doling out patronage, he seized, the party machinery. But don't forget, there's this guy who is the chairman south of PDP. He had never been with him. And he had been the PDP chairman in Edo State or something before. So I think they have expelled him, along with, purportedly expelled him anyway, according to their own dictate. But you see, when you are now reinstated as deputy governor and you declare for another party, what are you talking about? Doesn't he stand automatically haven't lost his seat? But you see, that is the beauty of democracy, as they say. You have to go to court. You have to go to court. And how many months is left? The man says he's back in office. He says he's receiving guests.
But we know that Obaseki, Oshiomhole, Adams Oshiomhole, a stakeholder in the APC in Edo State, and Shuaibu are not on the same page. They've not been on the same page for a long time. Do you think that will play out in the prospect of the APC as to winning the Guibo poll?
If we will recall, it was not Adams Oshiomhole was going around before the primaries, flaunting someone as a candidate of the presidency. When they conducted the first primaries, 3 candidates emerged: Opebolo, Dennis, whatever, the guy in the House of Rep, and then another person. When they saw that it was going to be a messy affair, they now had to, get together. And then the party now supported, what do you call him? Opebolo won. That other guy, the one that Adams Oshiomhole was flying around as the party candidate of the presidency, they maneuvered him to become deputy governor. Look, the man, I see the way he's conducting himself, that he has learned the lesson, the tough, hard lesson he learned when he was going around gallivanting and making so much noise that they were going to deal with Obaseki. Obaseki is a small boy, this and that. He has learned from that experience and he's behaving maturely, unlike the Oshiomhole, vintage Oshiomhole that we know, that will go to campaign and say all sorts of things. He's behaving, even when, what do you call his name now? Philip Shaibu joined them. Shaibu knelt before him. He maturely, comported himself, because all they need is victory. You understand? And to get victory, you have to get all hands on deck. He must not lose a second time. He is the leader of APC in Edo State. He must not lose a second time to Obaseki. It will be very bad. So he's behaving maturely against the natural vintage Oshiomhole that we know. And you see, when Opebolo wins, Opebolo will be the governor. And when he's the governor, he can align with anybody. He can align with Shaib. You understand? If Shaib is going to serve his strategic interest, it depends on what he's looking ahead at that will determine who we will align with, whether we align.
But sometimes you begin to wonder how the politicians think. I mean, the way they think. I mean, how do you trust somebody that openly defected and said so many things? Shuaibu was in the APC. He moved with
that's his natural
PDP,
habitat
to PDP, and there are so many utterances as regards the. I mean, how do you trust somebody that had once worked so with his blood, with his sweat and blood to oppose your party?
Do you think they trust each other? It's not a matter of trust. Trust does not come in. Trust is not trust is an alien word. in the political arena. Trust. How can you trust anybody? It's a matter of interest. Is there a convergence of interest? If the convergence of interest is for this moment alone.
Because I still remember several derogatory utterances from Philip Shaibu when he was in the PDP to the APC and to the person of Adams Oshiomhole.
Do you
Now they have to pretend to be on the same page now.
They are not pretending. There's a convergence of interest. When there's a convergence of interest, you join forces to achieve that objective. If the next moment after that achieving that objective, there is no convergence again, you look for where there is a convergence of interest. It's as simple as that. That is why those who kill and maim themselves and fight and get dirty in the gutter on behalf of politicians don't get it. Politicians will backslap. You will see them, shooting verbal darts at each other. By nightfall, they are in bed together. That's a convergence of interest. It's for that word trust is alien into the political arena. There can never be trust.
Okay, let's.
There is even no need for it. Why should I trust you?
As long as we are working together to achieve a goal.
That's the only thing.
So can you work with somebody you don't trust?
It depends on the arena. If it's a political arena, be wary of the next man. You can trust, okay?
So imagine yourself in a meeting and you don't trust each other and you're acting as if you're working towards the same goal.
No, you're working towards the same goal in reality. In reality, there's a goal. We're working together. How we get there, we might disagree. You, of course, as we're working together, I'm watching you. You're watching me. You're watching your back.
Politics is indeed a very interesting game.
Interesting.
Now, as we wrap up, let's go to Human Angle story, and that story of a young girl, a 17-year-old girl, that was raped at the Ogudu area H Command police station. A 17-year-old girl was reportedly raped by a DPO. Now, there seems to be some controversies there. Now, according to the Punch newspaper, the family is crying out saying victim under pressure to drop police station rape case. And looking at, I read something, I want to go through the Punch newspaper, I want to flip through. The investigations carried out, let me read now, Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Adegoke Fayode, on Friday, also said the command was awaiting the medical report of the tests conducted on the minor. That is from the Lagos State Commissioner of Police. But another contradictory story, same from the police. In response, inquiry on Thursday, the spokesperson for the command shared a link to a publication by the Punch, revealing that the police had received the medical report. Now, the spokesman is saying they had actually received, as of Thursday, they had received medical report, but the commissioner was saying on Friday that they are still awaiting. Is this not a way of eventually sweeping the case under the carpet?
Well,
like we've had in the past. This is not the first time we're having cases of ladies being raped in police custody.
Yeah, the issue of rape, establishing proof is always a tough one. I read the report of the mother taking the child to, they will say that you cannot go to just any hospital. It has to be a government hospital and all of that. And the evidence of rape might diminish, you understand, over a period of time. And it is so definite that it occurred in the past. And I remember that story that the girl lost her phone or something. And then the DPO said she should come. And then tales now coming up that that's not the very first one. Other people are coming up.
And
but you see,
suspect family of pressuring the survivor's mother to forgive the accused officer.
I don't. You see, some of these things I don't understand. I can't process all this forgive. You see, a crime has been committed. Who forgives? Of course, let justice be served. It's as straightforward as that. Justice must be served. Forgive, yes, of course, she has to forgive. You understand? Forgiving does not mean that the justice processes must not be followed. Forgiveness is a different matter. You understand? Because she actually needs to forgive. She has to be, go through the therapy so that when you forgive the other person, people don't even forgive themselves sometimes. You don't forgive yourself for putting yourself in such a location. That's an issue that the girl has to be, treated about too. Forgiving the other person and forgiving herself. Sometimes you blame yourself for you sometimes you say, and you saw the signs or the possibilities and you still walked into it, trusting the other party. So this issue of forgiveness has nothing to do with dealing with the criminal aspect of it.
Especially when the offender has become notorious in court.
And they're serving
that same
police officer. Somebody that I should see as
should be entrusted with your security.
And a young girl, I think age of consent is it 16 or 18?
I think it should be 18. 18, yeah.
I mean, you see, when they say that is beyond rape now. That's violation, you understand? When I read reports and say somebody raped a 12-year-old girl, I say that's not rape. That is beyond rape, you understand? Because you rape somebody who can give consent, you understand, or say no. That is when it is rape. When it is somebody
that
cannot,
abuse.
As a minor, that is no longer rape. It is beyond rape.
Hello?
So, but all this pressure, except they are going to blackmail them or something, threats. No, I mean, let the processes go. The issue of the commissioner saying the report has not been received, you see, it is not going to come straight to I want to give benefit of doubt. It's not going to come straight to the table of the CP, you understand? There is a department that deals with that. And then we write their own report, you understand, and forward it to the office of, through channels. Then we reach the office of the commissioner. So I want to give room for the benefit of doubt. So if they have a good lawyer, look, let me tell you, people are watching. People are watching. Female feeder and all of that, they are watching. So they should not think that it can be swept. Any attempt to sweep it under the carpet will not work. It will not work.
Okay, I think it's a convenient time for us to call it a day today. Thank you very much, Comrade AYODEJI AJISOPE, for being a part of the program.
My pleasure, always to be on this platform.
Okay, tune in for a fresh edition of the program from the dailies tomorrow morning, God willing, starting from 9:30 till 10 o'clock. My name is AYODEJI LAFENWA. Like I said earlier on, I'm wishing you a money-making Monday.
Yeah, money-making Monday. Or Georgia.